Hello. Today I'm going to talk about self-compassion and self-healing of the mind. It's an essential precursor to enabling the law of attraction to work. Do you know, when you were born, you came here fully formed. You have everything in you. You had everything in you then, and you have everything now. And when I say came here, I mean came here from somewhere else. You didn't start here. And from the time of being a little baby until growing older, life goes by, hurts accumulate, old slights stay with us, and we can find ourselves ruminating on things that have occurred in the past. Hurts that we bring up and keep alive day in, day out. We keep them alive because I can assure you that the people who caused any hurts in the past, they've long forgotten about you. You no longer exist for them. You keep these things alive. Let's have a look at a couple of images, because images enable us to absorb concepts very quickly. The first image is that of a card which has 9 swords of different lengths hanging next to each other, pointing downward. They're rusted and chipped and dripping blood from their tips. The tears in the background testify to the great suffering brought about by the swords. Clarity has disintegrated into a pile of rubble. Now this image, which has mystical origins, generally means cruelty directed at yourself. It generally means self-inflicted harm, self-inflicted anguish, and self-inflicted discomfort and torment. Let's have a look at another one which cranks the issue up a notch. Now here we have 9 swords directing their superior aggressive force from all directions at once against the 10th, and they destroy it completely. This 10th sword bears the symbol of the heart, as you can see. The card shows the destructive power of constant negative thinking. It is an image of insanity and confused uproar of soulless mechanisms. Even the last remains of joy of life, which is indicated by the sun which appears behind the heart. Love for yourself and others, as well as very existence itself, as portrayed by the heart, they all threaten to fall prey to this negativity. Negativity disrupts the soul's ability to enjoy peace and harmony. Now, in part 1 of this series, I spoke about how it was important to own yourself. Let's have another think, or another way of thinking about what I mean by this. Have a look at this image. This is an image of the sky. Now I'm going to let you in on a secret. You are the sky. And of course today we know that the sky extends much further out. It's not a blanket, as the ancients once thought. It is the lower part, it is the hint of an existence that extends outwards into space, outwards into eternity. So you're the sky. That's something I think we can all get our heads around. You exist. You are everything. Now let's have a look at clouds. Clouds are thoughts. They are events. They are past experiences which meander across the face of the sky. Now, if you were in a jet airliner above the earth and looking out the window, you would see clouds. And what I want you to imagine is that the jet airliner is actually your consciousness. The airliner goes down into clouds. It goes through them. The airliner stays in place, but consciousness is aware of clouds. And yet, the jet airliner passes through them without any difficulty whatsoever. So understand, thoughts are like clouds that go from one part of us, our existence, that we can see, but which are separate to us. They do not define us, they are not part of us, and they are not part of you. Let's consider an exercise whereby we can have some self-compassion, because look, over time, things do build up. And I think we need to do a little bit of weeding of the mental garden. Now, what I want you to do is to take a pen and paper. Yes, I know, it sounds, oh, so terribly last century, but take a pen and paper. The reason why I want you to take a pen and paper is because I want you to actually write things down. I want you to write. I want you to use the pen and think about what it is that you are going to be saying in this instance. I want you to force the letters onto the page rather than just type them in a keyboard or speak them into a dictaphone or turn them over in your head. Writing forces you to clarify your thoughts, and it forces you to think. And thinking is what gets you by in life more than anything else. Now, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to imagine a very close friend of yours, somebody who is feeling very down about themselves, someone who has great pain, someone who's going through great internal suffering. Now, I want you to imagine yourself as somebody at a time when you were strong, when you were mentally in shape, when you were at your best and your most compassionate. And I want you to write down a list of the things that you would do or say to this close friend of yours in their time of distress. And when you've done that, I also want you to look at the tone in which you say these things. How is it that you say the things? What is the care and the comfort that you offer the person when they're in that situation? So make a list of those things. Stick with me, because you will see that this works. Now, what I want you to do is to take some more paper. And I want you to think of a situation. It might be something that you're going through now. It might be feelings that you're going through now. It might be feelings of hurt or concern or futility or sorrow. Could be feelings of loss. Could be feelings of failure even. And what I want you to do is I want you to write down, again, write down on the paper the things that you say to yourself in your head at the moment when you're feeling the way that you do. Write down the things that you say to yourself. Now, when you finish that exercise, I want you to compare the list that you made to your close friend with the list that you made to yourself. And I want you to notice whether there are differences in the way that you approached your close friend, differences to the way that you approach them to as you approach yourself. And ask yourself this: would you speak to another person or a close friend in the way that you speak to yourself? Be honest. What you need to do is to speak to yourself as you would to someone else. You should put your hand on your heart now and say to yourself, with meaning, realistically, something good about yourself. I am lovable, and I am loved. Because I can tell you for sure, you are loved. You didn't come here by accident. You came here. You didn't start here. And it was no accident. You have something unique. You have something special to bring to the world, or you wouldn't be here. So say to yourself, I am unique. I am special. I am enough. Now you might worry, I don't have a level of education. I don't have a family background. I come from an economically challenged environment, so I'm not able to live the life that other people do. Well, that's actually wrong. You're here to live your life and understand one thing. You are enough. And all the other things that are out there, Porsches, Louis Vuitton handbags, all that stuff, and plenty of other things like it. Sure, they're great, but the thing is, you might recall, there is no U-Haul truck following the hearse to the graveyard. None of this stuff can you take with you. None of this stuff actually is real, in a sense, because these things are not what you are here to learn. You are enough. You have always been enough. You are special. You are unique. And you have something to bring to the world, or you would not be here. We'll talk more about this subject because it's interesting, I think. We'll talk more about it in the next video next time. So bye for now.